Good evening, friends. So, today I'll be discussing the 70th chapter of the Holy Quran known as the Naba. So, Naba is an Arabic word and its English translation would be the event. But what event? It is saying that the day of judgment itself. So, the period of revelation. So, as you can see, it is a 70th chapter. So, its previous two chapters are Surah Al Mursalat, Al Qiyamah, and it's preceded by Al Naziyat. So, all these surahs uh, have the same theme and they closely resemble to one another, and all of them have been revealed in the earliest period of the Makkah. So, the theme and subject. So the theme discussed in the Surah 77th of the Holy Quran, that is the Mursalat, is to confirm or affirm the resurrection and the hereafter, and to warn the people of the consequences of acknowledging it or disacknowledging it. So when the Prophet of Muhammad first started to preach Islam in Mecca, his message consisted of three elements, and the number one was that none should be held associated with God in his lordship, and the second was that God has appointed Prophet Muhammad as his messenger, and the third is that this world will come to an end and then another world will be established when all the former and the later generations will be resurrected with the same bodies in which they have lived and worked in the world. Then they will be called to account for their beliefs and deeds, and whoever emerges as believing or righteous in this accountability will go to paradise, and those who are provoked to be disbelieving or wicked will go or will live in hell forever. So all of these, the first point was very highly unpleasant for the people of Mecca living at that time. So yet you would see that yet in this case they are not the disbelievers in God, or they do not believe in the God. They actually believed in him. They actually believed that there's a creator, there's a supreme sustainer and providence who provides us, and also they admitted that whom they regard as their deities, they were themselves God creatures. So therefore you see that only thing that they disputed was whether they had any share in the attributes and the power of dignity and the divine being or not. As for the second, the people of Mecca were not prepared to accept it. However, what they could have possibly deny during the 40 years of life of the Prophet Muhammad they had lived before them, his claim of prophethood, they had never found him a lying person or a deceitful person, or anyone who would adopt unharmful methods of selflessness. He was so selfless, he think of the people of others. So they themselves had somewhere admitted that he was a man of wisdom, who possessed wisdom, who was righteous and had a higher moral superiority. So therefore, in spite of charging him with a thousand false accusations to say nothing of making others believe, they were finding it difficult even for themselves to believe that although he was a honest person, an upright person in every other affair or when dealing of life, yet God forbid a liar only in his claim to be a prophet. So the third point, when this was presented before them, presented before the people of Mecca at that time, they started mocking it and expressed their unusual wonder of it, and regarding it as a remote from reason and impossible, started talking against it as an incredible or even inconceivable in their assemblies. But in order to bring them to the way of Islam, it is absolutely essential that the doctrine of the hereafter should be instilled into their minds. For without the belief in this doctrine, it is not possible at all that they could adopt a serious attitude with regard to the truth and falsehood. This could change their standard of values in respect of good and evil, and giving up the worship of the world could be inclined to follow that Islam urged them to follow. This is why in the earliest surahs that were revealed at Mecca, the doctrine of hereafter has been stressed more than anything else. However, the arguments for it have been given in such a way that the doctrine of monotheism also is impressed in the minds of the people automatically. So, this contains brief arguments here and there to affirm the truth of the Holy Messenger and the God.